Our teams went inside and found evidence of possible biological material, including refrigerators with vials containing unknown liquids.
America, the FBI and Metro Police just raided a home in East Las Vegas and found refrigerators full of vials containing unknown biological substances. One person arrested, hazmat teams on the scene, neighbors in shock.
The home raided by Metro and the FBI on Sugar Springs Drive is owned by two people, David Hur and Xiaoyang Wang, both listed by the Department of Justice as defendants facing conspiracy and fraud charges.
But here's the part that should terrify you. Both named by the Department of Justice in connection to an illegal biolab in California.
At least 20 different infectious agents, from herpes to malaria, COVID, all being stored. Investigators also discovered nearly 1,000 mice being bioengineered.
And they just set up shop in Las Vegas. What is up, guys? Tyson DeLaCruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Let me show you exactly how these Chinese criminal networks are operating illegal biolabs on American soil. Let me walk you through what happened Saturday morning in a quiet East Las Vegas neighborhood near Washington and Hollywood. Just before 6 a.m., the FBI, Metro Police, hazmat teams, and multiple federal agencies executed a raid on a home on Sugar Springs Drive.
Andrew Wiggins says in his 7 years living near Sugar Springs Drive, he never thought he would see something like this.
We definitely didn't think it was any kind of biological or, that's serious. So it can affect not just one area, it can affect us all quickly.
Neighbors obviously had no idea what was happening in that particular house. And then federal agents show up in hazmat suits and start removing refrigerators containing vials of unknown liquids. Good thing it wasn't Diddy's house.
As police and the FBI continue to search for evidence of possible biological material at a home in this East Las Vegas neighborhood, ABC sources are confirming that the person arrested during Saturday's raid is the property manager.
Sheriff Kevin McCanhill held a press conference and confirmed they found possible biological material inside the home. But here's what he wouldn't say. What's in those particular vials? Who was the person arrested? And how long this operation had been running?
We have one suspect who I was informed that we were taking him into custody as we were walking in here. We're not prepared to release any information on that individual.
That's what the sheriff said. But ABC News sources confirmed the person arrested was the property manager, not the property owners. The owners are David Hurry and Zhijing Wang, and they're already facing federal charges in California. So let me get this straight. Federal agents raid a house, find biological material, arrest the property manager, but the actual owners, who are already facing federal fraud charges in another state, are still walking free. Now let's talk about who actually owns this Las Vegas property, because this is where the Chinese connection becomes crystal clear.
McMahill says one person was arrested for alleged involvement with a biological lab inside the home.
Our teams went inside and found evidence of possible biological material.
Nevada public records show the home is owned by David Hurry and Zhijing Wang. But here's the twist. David Hurry is an alias. His real name is Jia Bizu, a Chinese national who's been using multiple fake identities for years.
According to ABC News sources, the investigation began as a code violation call when authorities began to suspect that illegal biological research materials might be stored at the property.
Somebody reported a problem with the property, and when authorities showed up looking into it, they discovered possible illegal biological research material. That's when the Joint Terrorism Task Force took over. Let me rewind that back. Let me repeat that. The Joint Terrorism Task Force, not local police, not code enforcement. The federal task force that handles national security threats took over for this particular investigation. That tells you everything you need to know about how serious the situation was.
Back in October 2023, the Department of Justice announced the arrest of Jia Beizu, who allegedly goes by many other names, including David Hur.
So Jia Bizu, who goes by the name of David Hurry or David He, and probably a dozen other names, was arrested in October 2023 and running a illegal biolab in California. And while he's facing federal charges, he somehow managed to buy a property in Las Vegas and set up another biolab operation. Now let me take you back to the California operation, because you need to understand the scale of what these people were doing. In December 2022, a code enforcement officer in Reedley, California, a small town near Fresno, noticed a green garden hose coming out of a warehouse that wasn't supposed to be there.
Nearly 1,000 overcrowded bioengineered mice, vials of blood, and this list of infectious diseases, including malaria, E. coli, chlamydia, COVID, and many others. That was what was found in this warehouse in Reedley.
And that's obviously what they just could identify.
Investigators also discovered nearly 1,000 mice being bioengineered and caged in inhumane conditions. Many of them were dead when they got there.
The CDC tested the substances and detected at least 20 potential infectious diseases. These weren't just samples sitting in a particular lab. They were active biological material being stored in a warehouse with no proper safety protocols.
Those medical devices include hundreds of thousands of COVID-19 and HIV test kits and pregnancy tests here in the U.S. and in China.
But here's what they were actually doing with all of this: manufacturing and distributing hundreds of thousands of fake C19 and HIV test kits. They were selling these fraudulent tests in the United States and in China. No FDA approval, no quality control, just fake medical devices being sold to unsuspected people.
The hazardous electricity wires without permits, including added outlets for running refrigerators and freezers, unmarked stored highly flammable chemicals, and medical devices in cardboard boxes made fire probability high and the risk of a possible explosion.
And the safety conditions were so bad that the Reedley fire chief sent a letter warning a potential disaster for our city. Hazardous electrical wiring, highly flammable chemicals stored in cardboard boxes, risk of explosion. They had to plan an evacuation zone that included the police department, city hall, a school district office, and 12 homes. Now let's talk about who's actually running this operation, because this isn't some lone wolf. This is an organized Chinese criminal network with connections that go all the way back to China.
A year later, Talbert announced a superseding indictment charging his romantic and business partner, Jiaoyang Wang, who was accused of operating the biolab.
Jeff Bezos' romantic and business partner, Zhizhang Wang, the same person who co-owns the Las Vegas property, she was indicted a year after Bezos for operating the biolab. So this is a husband and wife criminal enterprise running an illegal biolab across multiple states.
The criminal complaint reads that the two allegedly illegally imported hundreds of thousands of Chinese-made COVID test kits by declaring them as pregnancy test kits.
And here's how they were smuggling these fake tests into the country. They were declaring them, get this, as pregnancy test kits on customer forms. So U.S. Customs thought that they were importing pregnancy tests, but they were actually bringing in hundreds of thousands of fraudulent C19 tests from China.
Through further investigation by the House Select Committee on China, Congressman Jim Costa unveiled a 40-page report in November of 2023, revealing unsettling discoveries found in the Reedley biolab.
The House Select Committee on China got involved and released a 40-page report revealing even more disturbing details about this situation. Those 1,000 mice weren't regular lab mice. They were transgenic mice designed to simulate a human immune system. And according to a worker, they were genetically engineered to catch and carry the C19 virus. Let that sink in. They had 1,000 mice genetically engineered to carry C19 in a warehouse with no biosafety protocols, stored next to 20 infectious agents while manufacturing fake medical test kits. And when it got shut down in California, they just moved the operation to Las Vegas. Now let me show you how this criminal network operates, because the fake identities are just as important as the biolabs themselves.
U.S. Attorney Philip Talbert said in part, quote, "As part of his scheme, the defendant changed his name, the names of his companies, and their locations."
The U.S. attorney said it explicitly. As part of this particular scheme, the defendant changed his name, the names of his companies, and their locations. This is systematic identity fraud designed to evade law enforcement. Jeff Bezos has operated under at least 4 different names: Jeff Bezos, Jesse Zhao, Kang He and David He. He created multiple companies: University MedTech Incorporated, Prestige Biotech Incorporated, and probably a bunch of others that we don't even know about.
Jesselyn Harper is the Reedley code enforcement officer who found the green garden hose at the lab in December 2022.
And when the claim was filed against us, it gave us a reason to start reaching out to him and communicating with him again. When he actually showed up, it was a realization of this is actually happening today.
And here's how they finally caught him in California. The code enforcement officer lured him in to the Reedley location by pretending he needed to discuss the property. When he showed up, federal agents were waiting for him. They arrested him at gunpoint right there on that property. But even after his arrest, even while facing federal charges, he and his partner managed to buy a property in Vegas, set up another operation. How is this possible? How does someone under federal indictment for running an illegal biolab get to buy another property and do it again? So what did the federal agents find in the Las Vegas home? Because the sheriff is being very tight-lipped about the details here.
That locked garage. Sheriff McMahill confirming once again what our investigation team first reported, that this is actually part of a broader federal investigation in California.
Refrigerators with vials containing quote-unquote unknown liquids. That's all they say publicly. But based on the California operation, we can make an educated guess about what was actually in those vials. Probably some blood samples, some tissue samples, infectious agents, or material to manufacture fake testing kits.
Sheriff McMahill reports that this is an isolated incident with no threat to the public. He says they will release more information on the investigation in the coming days.
But if there's no threat, why was the Joint Terrorist Task Force involved? Why did they take over? Why did they need hazmat suits? Why are they being so secretive about what they found? And here's a question that nobody's asking. How many other properties do these people own under different aliases? If they had operations in California and Las Vegas, what about other states? The House investigation found that they were operating through multiple companies, multiple locations, multiple names. This could be a nationwide network. America, a Chinese criminal network just got caught running an illegal biolab on American soil twice. First in California with 1,000 mice engineered to carry C-19, 20 infectious agents, and hundreds and thousands of fake kits. Now in Las Vegas with refrigerators full of unknown biological material. The same criminals, the same pattern, different state. And even while facing federal charges, they managed to set up another operation. The property manager is arrested, but the actual owners, Jia Beizu and Xinjiang Wang, are still out there. This isn't just about one illegal lab. This is about a Chinese criminal network operating on American soil with apparent impunity. They use fake identities, create shell companies, smuggle materials from China, and when they get caught, they just move to another state and start over. The Joint Terrorism Task Force is involved for a particular reason. This is a national security threat, and the fact that it took a code enforcement officer noticing a garden hose to expose the California operation should absolutely terrify you. How many more are out there that we haven't found yet? Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.